You're watching Your Vote on Your TV. My name is Barry Wright. Joining me is Bob Bailey. Bob is the MPP, has been the MPP for many years in Sarnia-Lambton. Thanks for taking time to join us.
Well, thanks, Barry, and thank you to right at the point to have me in here, and of course to Your TV for hosting all of the candidates in this election. It's a pleasure to be here, and had a great relationship over the years with Your TV, and looking forward to our conversation today.
Was there any thought of not running this time around, Bob, or did you sort of know from the get-go you're going to run again?
No, I knew right from the get-go. My wife and I and my family, we always sit down before every election, talk it over, and say, okay, what are we going to do? Are we willing to commit to this again? Because once you commit, you're committing to the, the full 4 years and that. And so I had so many things in the works already, like underway, like with the local community and provincial wide that we had committed to and started to see some fruition there, and so I wanted to see those complete. So I said, well, I'm going to run one more time, and it's up to the people at the end of the day. And if, like I think my constituency work that my office has provided to the local community and far and wide, I said, that should count for something, and so the people will decide on the 27th.
Right. Some of the other parties obviously have complained about the necessity of the election. How do you respond to those complaints that say, it's not necessary right now?
Well, I think since the election in the United States next door, I think with the election of Donald Trump, and the imposition, the threatened imposition of these 25% plus tariffs, I think the election is even more necessary now than it was, say, 6 months ago. Because now you can see that we're going to be, and as Premier Ford himself said, what we're seeing today is what we're going to see probably every day for the next 4 years. So we need a government in place with a majority for the next 4 years that will match or even outlast the Trump administration. So no, I think that we do need this majority, and we need to have the election, because the election would have been sometime in the next year and 6 months anyway, and who knows where we'd be with the tariffs. We don't. The federal government's not in place yet. The leadership federally is not even over with. Then they don't know whether they're going to go right to an election or they have an election campaign, which would be another 28 to 30 some days. So it could be June before federally we have a government in place to deal with the Americans. So I think the leadership that Premier Ford is exhibiting as chair of the Federation is what we need right now, and we need to continue that leadership.
Right. Let's talk about some of the issues that
Sure.
seem to be top of mind. You could tell me if people are talking about other things when you go to the door, but healthcare is one of the things that people are always concerned about. What will the PC government sort of bring to the table as far as healthcare?
Well, I think we've already did a great deal in Ontario. Like locally, first of all, talk about when we first formed government, it was 6.5 years ago, roughly. I think the Ontario budget for healthcare was around $65 billion. We're now spending $85 billion a year on healthcare, and can we do more? Yeah, but there's only a limited amount of dollars. But I think we have a great record here locally. We've just implemented the HART proposal. Just announced just before the election, actually. That's over 3 years, over $6 million a year for the health and rehab for that. And then we got 3 more beds for the hospice, which are going to be rural Lambton. Yep. Rural Lambton, looking really forward to that, because there was a lot of people that had no transportation to get and see a loved one in Sarnia. So that health care, that hospice care will be locally in the Petrolia area. And of course, we've got the Youth Wellness Hub down on Front Street, one of 19, I think, funded in Ontario. We were fortunate we got one in Sarnia-Lambton. We also, the Heart Hub I just referred to, one of 9 that were announced the other day. Again, we've got one in Sarnia-Lambton. Of course, the long talked about, ready for construction at Blue Water Health, the addiction hub wing that's going to be built there. All the design work, all of the architectural drawings are ready, just at the Ministry of Health, waiting for that final approval. As president of Blue Water Health, Paula Rion Zimmer says, they're at the stage where they're ready to order the furniture. It's ready to go. We just need the final say. So I know it's been a long time coming, and I'm looking forward to that. And with that heart hub, it's going to allow them to establish up to 30 beds for recovery after treatment. So that's a real big win locally for the local community and for the people that need it.
Right. One of the issues that's obviously taken a lot of headlines the last little while is the housing issue. And
yes.
obviously we've had encampments in Sarnia, but not only in Sarnia,
Yep.
there's been small ones, some of the smaller communities as well.
Yeah, I think there's 1,400 across the province.
Exactly. So what can we look forward to as far as trying to fix the housing crisis?
There again, working with the county, the city, on a proposal. I had the minister down here numerous times, Minister both Tabola, who's Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, and also Minister Calandra, and I know the local community, the Sarnia-Lambton community with Heather Martin and that group, the Rotary, they put forward a proposal to end well, and this went to the province for final approval, and that's going to establish housing here as people receive these treatments. So they kind of all work together, right? Because we have to get the people that need help to get off drugs and give them final addiction treatment, then they need a place to go and live, right? And so that's part of this. Skits is part of that. There's a minimum, I think you can have 10 beds there the way it's set up right now. They can get people in there. There's about 30 beds, I think, available spaces right now that they can, once they treat people, they can get them out of that stream so they can keep them separated from some of their bad habits, some friends that they would. So we need to, it could take a year or more, right, to get people back on their feet. And so that's a big part there. There's new beds going to be opened, new housing. There's one going up on London Road right now. That's going to take some of that.
Right, right. You talked a little bit off air about running an election campaign in the middle of February, sort of thing. Talk a little bit about the challenges of that. Obviously, I mean, the weather is one of the biggest challenges, I guess.
Yeah, so it's been interesting. What we tried to do is meet people at the door and/or had a lot of luck and success with going to different restaurants and/or coffee shops, meeting people where they are, sponsored a number of community skates and/or swimming, community swimming. So this family day, we're going to be all over Sarnia-Lambton with the general public. So it's a different way of meeting people, but it's worked out fine. It's had great reception where I've had the chance to do that.
We'll give you the final word. Tell us in 30 seconds or so. There's always new voters. So some of them may not know who Bob Bailey is, even though a lot of people do. If you were sitting with a new voter and they were to say, "Why should I vote for Bob Bailey?" What would you tell them?
Yeah. Well, I've had spent my whole life in this community working either in industry and/or in municipal government. Had the last 18 years to work at the provincial level, both in opposition, where I had great opportunity to work with governments of the day. The last 6.5 years in government. I think if you look around Sarnia-Lambton, we've got a lot of successes to look forward to. The things, easy wins, early wins that we've had here locally. Looking forward to, with the voters' permission, on the 27th of February, get out and vote for Bob Bailey, and we'll continue that kind of leadership. And I look forward to your vote and your support if you can see fit. And thank you again to Your TV for hosting me today.
Thank you for taking time.
Thank you, Barry.